Hello everyone, I welcome you all in our science tutor group. In this video, we are going to learn the first lesson of this class. The name of the lesson is The Living World Adaptations and Classification. Dear students, we are living on the huge globe for which we call as Earth. Being huge, a variety of animals and a variety of plants are dwelling are present on the earth. So this world is full of variety of animals. The animals are of different types. Like aquatic animals means the animals which live in water. Terrestrial animals means the animals which live on the land. Then amphibians means the animals which live in water as well as on land. Then reptilians, the animals which creeps. All such animals are called as reptiles. They are called as reptilian. The next aerial animals, the animals which fly in air and all such. So this world is full of variety of animals. Even the world also have great variety of plants like aquatic plants means living in water, desert plants, the plants living in deserts, snowy region plants means which are found in snowy region, forest region plants and grassland plants. So this world is totally full of variety of animals and variety of plants. Students, in the last point we had discussed that this world is full of a variety of plants, variety of animals. From all these points, one observation arises which which gives rise to one of the question that how did this great variety come into being? For understanding this point, we have to think that whether all the plants and all the animals from Kashmir and Rajasthan are of the same type? Of course not. Suppose like coniferous trees like pine and devdar, they flourish in the snowy regions like Kashmir. However, in the deserts of Rajasthan, plants like cactus and acacia are to be found. The camel, a desert animal, is not found in Kashmir, which is found in Rajasthan. What are the reasons behind this? Though all are animals, but still they have created, they have made some changes in their body so that they can adjust with their surroundings. And this making changes in the body, making changes in the behavior only is called as adaptation. So now we are going to learn this point, adaptations. What is the meaning of adaptation? Gradual changes occur in the body parts and also in the behavior of organisms which help them to adjust to their surroundings. Such changes are called adaptations. What is the meaning of gradual changes? Gradual changes means the changes which takes place slowly. The changes which takes place slowly, which occur in the body parts of plants and animals, as well as it brings out changes in the behavior of the organisms also. Okay, and that behavior, that those changes in the behavior helps them to adjust to the surrounding. Such changes are called as adaptations. This is the only point which helps the plants and animals to sustain to their surroundings. Adaptation is not a sudden change. It is gradual and continuous process. They take place over a long period of time. it is not the case that the plants or the animals, they are able to adjust with the surroundings only in one generation. It takes generation and generation, years and years, to bring out the adaptations among the plants and animals. Dear students, this lesson I have divided into three parts: part A, part B, and part C. Okay, in this video we are going to see only part A, that is adaptation in plants. Okay, in part B the video will be on adaptation in animals, and in part C, that is the third video, in that video total 3 points will be there: adaptation for blending with the surroundings, classification of living organisms, and the third one is binomial nomenclature by Carl Linnaeus. Now we will start discussing about the adaptations in plants one by one. So the first type which we are going to discuss is adaptations in aquatic plants. Students, if you visit various water bodies such as river, brook, pond, lakes, which are there in your surrounding, do you find any differences? Do you observe any differences between the terrestrial and the aquatic plants? Of course, yes. Some of the aquatic plants are firmly rooted in the soil at the bottom of the water bodies. Their stems are submerged while leaves and flowers float on the surface. However, some plants are entirely afloat. Means some of the plants, they are floating on the water, and their roots are not anchored in the soil. So in case of some plants, the surfaces of leaves and stems of many of the aquatic plants are covered with waxy layer. Leaves of some aquatic plants, they are thin, slender, like a ribbon. This shape helps those plants to withstand fast currents of water. Even some air spaces are present in the stems and petioles of such aquatic plants, which are useful for floating in water. Now here the example which is given in the picture, that is the lotus. If you observe the lotus plant, the leaves of the lotus plant, they are floating on water. How it is possible? Why do they float on water? Why do they not get deep in the water? As they have air spaces. In the second picture, if you see, the horizontal cut is taken of the stem. There you find the 4 holes are there. Means those 4 holes are there throughout, from the bottom, means from the roots till the tip of the stem. Means it is hollow inside. When any substance, any object, it is hollow inside, it floats on water, because air is filled in that, air spaces are there. The surfaces of the leaves, also stems of all these aquatic plants, or this plant lotus, it is covered with a waxy layer. So because of that, it doesn't get rotten, यानी ये खराब होता नहीं है पानी के कारण. Though it is in the water, it remains in the water all the time throughout its life, but then also it remains in good condition throughout its life. And the second main point is about the air spaces. The stems and petioles of the lotus plant or these aquatic plants, they have air spaces inside them, so they float on the water. So these are the adaptations of aquatic plants. Dear students, now we will see what type of adaptations are seen in the desert plants. The desert plants are either leafless, or their leaves are like small needles, or have been modified into thorns. As a result, they lose very little water by evaporation. What does it mean? means the plants which grow in the desert, as there is scarcity of water in the desert region. These plants, they convert their leaves into small needle-like structure, means spine-like structure, spiny structure, which we call it as thorns. There in the picture you can see clearly. The example is given of the cactus. You must have seen the cactus plant either in your surroundings somewhere or on the TV's National Geography channel. That these plants, they do not have leaves, but instead of leaves they have thorns on them. What is this type of modification? Or in the, we can say that it is one type of adaptation. Adaptation means this is nothing but the change which is brought about by those plants in their body. That instead of giving out leaves, they give out thorns, because we know that the photosynthesis process takes place in the leaves, and during photosynthesis process, tremendous amount of water is lost by the plant, and as there is scarcity of water in the desert region, these plants, they do not want to lose water from their body. So because of that, they have converted their leaves into thorns. The second point is the stem stores water and food, hence it is fleshy. This is also one type of modification they have done. Where do they store water? Normally in our area, in Maharashtra, the water and food is stored in the leaves. But these desert plants, they store their food and water in the stems. So due to that, they are seen fleshy. The third point is the stems are green as they do photosynthesis. Normally, you must have learned in 5th standard, 6th standard that the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis process means the process of production of food. It takes place in the leaves. But these desert plants, their photosynthesis process goes on in the stems, and due to that only they are green in color, and as they are green in color, the photosynthesis takes place there in the stem, means the chlorophyll pigments are present in the stem. Instead of leaves, they are present in the stem. The fourth point is their roots penetrate deep into the soil in search of water, because as we know that due to scarcity of water, they have to keep on searching water. So due to that, in search of water, the roots penetrate deep into the soil. The fifth point is they have thick layer of waxy substance on stems. Why it is? Because the sunlight should not affect their body. So due to that, they secrete a waxy layer. A waxy layer is secreted on the body. So due to that, the sunlight does not reach directly to the stems, and due to that, water is not lost. Some examples are given here. Cactus is there, acacia, or in local language we call it as babul. Then desert lily. All these are some of the examples of desert plants. What are the adaptations done by them? The first adaptation is there. They have converted their leaves into thorns. Their stem is green. It brings out photosynthesis. The stems are green in color for photosynthesis, and their roots penetrate deep into the soil. All these are the adaptations seen in the desert plants. Now we are going to see adaptations in the plants of snowy region. Snowy region means where there is snowfall. Such type of region is called as snowy region. In our country, mostly Jammu Kashmir, Himalayan region, it is called as snowy region. There also plants grow, and those plants also adjust in such situation. Means only because of some changes they have brought in their body, in their structure. Because of that only they can adjust in that region. The trees found in snowy region are conical in shape and have sloping branches. This is the first and main type of adaptation which is brought about by these plants. That is, their shape is conical and they have sloping branches. This only helps them to keep themselves safe from the snow. Here in our area, if you see, the branches are rising towards the sunlight. What is the reason? To get more sunlight. We know that plants are here, they need sunlight for the photosynthesis process. But in snowy region, if you see, the branches are sloping downwards only to protect themselves from the snowfall. Because if when the snow falls, the snow gets easily, it slips down from the branches without breaking the branches. There is heavy snowfall and extreme cold in this region. Their conical shape prevents the snow from accumulating on the trees and also to withstand the cold. This is the only main adaptation which is brought about by the plants of snowy region. Their shape is conical and their branches are sloping to save themselves from the falling snow. The next point is adaptations in plants of forest region. Now first we will understand what conditions are present in the forest. We know that in forest region the trees, plants, shrubs, herbs, all these type of plants grow in the forest and that also very close to each other. And what conditions are there? As we have discussed in the previous point, that the trees grow towards the sunlight and they need sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. So for getting maximum sunlight, these plants they have to grow taller than other plants. So because of that, in forest we find very much tall plants. A variety of plants are found in the forest like trees, shrubs and herbs. These plants they compete amongst themselves for sunlight, hence they grow tall to get sunlight. And regarding the climbers also, climbers and vines grow to a great height with the support. Now we know that the stem of the climbers and vines is very weak. They cannot grow erect. So due to that, they have to take support of other plants, those which have strong stem. There in the picture you can see that the tree which is taller. Around that, some climbers they have raised above for getting sunlight. They also need sunlight for their food production. So because of that, they have to grow or they have to rise taller and taller for getting the sunlight. And for rising taller, these climbers and vines, what they do? They give out spring-like tendrils. You must have seen the some of the climbers like soft gold, rich golds, all these Carla, Bhopla. Okay, those plants, those climbers, they give out spring-like tendrils which coils around the support, and they keep on taking support and they rise up and up. So these are some of the adaptations which are seen among the plants of forest region. What are those adaptations? Once again we will repeat that as they have to grow taller and taller for the purpose of sunlight, the climbers and the vines also grow at a great height, maybe by taking support. Okay, and for that purpose they give out tendrils. So formation of the tendril is the adaptation of these climbers and vines. Some examples are there of the plants, that is variety of trees, shrubs and herbs which are seen around. Now the next point is adaptation in grassland plants. Now we know that grasslands, they are in open, their plants, they don't have to compete with other plants, and all the plants, they are getting sufficient sunlight even if they grow taller or not, but sufficient amount of sunlight is present there. So due to that, the adaptation or the change or difference which is seen among these plants and other plants is that they have fibrous roots. The roots, we know that there are two types of root, tap roots and fibrous roots. So these fibrous roots are present in the plants which are seen in the grassland regions. Some of the grasses in the equatorial regions, they are very tall. The equatorial region grass, it grows very taller. But the grasses in the cold regions, they are very short. So these are some of the adaptations which are seen among the plants which are growing in the grasslands in equatorial region and the cold regions. In cold regions, as there is sunlight is very less, so due to that these grasses, they do not grow very much taller, they remain short. But comparing to this cold region, the equatorial region plants, they grow taller because they have ample of sunlight and all the atmospheric conditions, they are favorable for them. So because of that, the equatorial regions grow very tall. The next type of adaptation which we are going to see is the adaptation which is seen among the plants for ingestion of food. Now, most of the plants we see around us, they are anchored in the ground. They grow in the soil. But some of the plants are there, which you see there in the picture, yellow colored plant. Okay, now its name is dodder, or commonly it is called as cuscuta. This cuscuta plant, which is parasitic in nature. What is the meaning of parasitic? Parasitic means the plant or the organism which is dependent on other animals for its food. Such type of organisms are called as parasitic organisms. So this cuscuta plant is parasitic. The plant of the plant cuscuta, it consists of a yellow wire-like stem, which is leafless, means it doesn't have leaves. It means that it cannot perform the process of photosynthesis. But still, it grows around us on the trees. How it is possible? Because it has got special type of roots. Those roots are called as haustorial roots or sucking roots. For what purpose? Only for absorbing nutrients from the host plant. Means this cuscuta plant, it absorbs the mineral and water which is required for its growth, or it absorbs its food from the other plant's stem. It penetrates its haustorial roots into the other plant's stem or branches, and from there it sucks the food. These roots, they penetrate deep into the conducting vessels of the host plant to absorb the water and food. The same example, one more example we can give of the fungus. This fungus, it doesn't have chlorophyll pigments, and it cannot perform the process of photosynthesis. But still, we know that fungus is seen everywhere, it grows. Okay, from where do they obtain their food? They obtain food from the starchy foodstuffs like bhakri, bread, all such foods. Okay, they have root-like fibers for the absorption of food. One more picture which you see here, that is Venus flytrap. Video is inserted there. After this explanation, you can click on the video. Okay, that is the example of the Venus flytrap. It is special type of adaptation now. What is that type of adaptation? That some of the plants in some regions, as they do not get sufficient amount of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium for its growth, then what they do? They catch the insects. They bring out certain special changes in themselves that they are easily able to catch the insects. They catch hold the insects and absorb the nutrients from those insects' body. These examples are there: Drosera, that is sundew, Venus flytrap, pitcher plant. Okay, these plants, they fulfill their need for nitrogen by consuming the insects. The adaptations are seen in these plants which serve to attract insects and hold them captive. Okay, so what is the first adaptation seen in the Cuscuta plant? That Cuscuta, though it doesn't have leaves, it is not anchored in the soil, still it grows. Why? Because it has got special type of roots. That is only its adaptation. That it has got hostorial roots. That is the adaptation of Cuscuta plant. What is the adaptation of Venus flytrap? That it has created the flycatcher like structure, okay, to catch the insects. That is its adaptation. Now you can click on the video.